Yo, what up? You're going to be hearing some hammering because the maintenance on my apartment complex never ends. We're going to do
Is brought to you by the
Persona
following
4 Arena
sponsors.
today. We're pretty much done with it.
Persona 4 Arena.
Well, by my metric, I'm going to stop streaming it. How about that?
Welcome to the Velvet.
Because once you get one of their story endings, all the other ones are just kind of repeats.
And matter.
It's not that big of a deal.
Why don't you
I wish you good luck.
Oh shit! Actually, yeah, there we go.
You're lying. This isn't real. I'm not a machine.
Yeah,
You're not me.
you kind of are. She's denied the truth of the Shadow's creation. With this, the Shadow's face twists with an evil rapture.
Finally, you finally said it. Now I can be myself.
Also, let me know if the volume is good.
Yes.
I'd hoped I could save her before it got to this point, but that might have been impossible anyway. It's difficult enough to confront the truth. In her case, it was accompanied by revealing the true form she'd been so desperate to hide. She's a machine, and she was forced to perform painful acts that most likely no one could ever comprehend. The truth is that she was avoiding wasn't just part of her personality, but her actual body itself. I can't imagine the shock she's experiencing. But now that the reality she built for herself has crumbled, I want to help her. She may be a machine, but she has a heart. Labras has denied her past in which she was forced to fight and kill her friends. Her pain comes out in a long, echoing scream. What has to be done to a heart to cause such terrible screams? There's only one thing we can do. Let's save Labras. Place bookmark. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, that's pretty easy. The power that Labras' shadow had gathered dissipates. It's over. All that's left is for Labras to accept the darkness within her. But will she truly be able to do it? I turn around, but Labras hasn't moved a muscle. She had been avoiding having to watch the battle just now as well. What more can I do for her? The moment I call to her.
There they are. Yukin, Labras. Sister, Narukami-san.
Chie and Aigus-san. And not just them. Yukiko and Yosuke are right behind them. There are even more surprises.
Man, as soon as that invisible wall thing disappeared, I knew you did it!
We ran into Aika-san along the way. She told us about Labras and everything.
A little late, wasn't it? If someone told me what was going on from the start, I would have...
You fell into the TV when you were half asleep! For crying out loud, you really know how to blow it when it counts!
Hey! What'd you go and tell them for?
I don't think this is the time for that.
Huh? Naoto? Yeah, we were surprised too. The job she was on turned out to be related to all this.
Kanji, who had been missing before we went inside the TV, and the real Teddy are here. There's even Naoto, who wasn't supposed to have been able to come to Inaba. Looks like the whole investigation team's been brought back together, and I didn't know it. Everyone says that Rise had told them pretty much what had been going on. Their smiles are encouraging. I turn to speak to Labras, who has been silent all this time.
These are my friends.
We've all faced our weaknesses at one time or another.
Labrys finally
Your
responds.
weaknesses. You've all faced your shadows?
Everyone gathers around Labrys. Labrys tries to shrink away nervously, but Rise is behind her and won't let her retreat.
Sheesh, enough doom and gloom. If you don't hurry and accept her, she'll get all lonely. But I'm a weapon who didn't want to fight. And I dragged you all into this.
You're still hung up on that? It's over already, dummy.
Your jumping skills were amazing, but you're surprisingly sensitive, aren't you?
What do those things have to do with each other, GA? Saying people who jump good aren't sensitive?
What does that have to do with her jumping
Yeah,
skills?
thank you, Yosuke. Thank you.
You're really cute, Labby-chan. You're so mega-luring.
Are you all listening to me? Labrys needs to face her shadow now, and
This was going well at first, but now everyone's talking about different things. We're completely off topic. Of course, that's not unusual with all of us. I have to laugh, and I apologize to Labrys that things didn't quite wrap up as I'd hoped. Labrys looks back at me with a blank expression. Can't you tell that we're not treating her any differently? I turn toward Aigis-san, and she meets my gaze. She nods silently, then stands before Labrys. She seems slightly nervous.
Nice to meet you, Labrys. Or rather, sister. I am Aegis, the 7th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon. I am your successor.
Labrys jerks up and looks at Aigis-san. At the same instant, Yukiko gasps in surprise.
What? Excuse me, but are you also... Yes, I too am a robot.
It just occurred to you now?
Weren't you with her all this time, Yukiko? How did you not notice something like that? That's so like you. Once again, everyone looks towards Aigis-san and Labrys, the non-human sisters. Now that I see them standing together, there is something of a family resemblance. Maybe I've been wrong this whole time. If Labrys is Aigis-san's older sister, then try to be calling her Labrys-san? Well, I guess that doesn't matter.
My mission to retrieve you has brought me here. My colleagues are waiting for you. Are they gonna lock me up again? Well, considering all I did, of course they will.
Labrys' expression darkens. I hadn't thought about it, but if Labrys and Aigis-san are treated as weapons, it's no surprise that there would be measures to keep them in check. But Labrys shouldn't have to just accept it, if she truly is going to be locked up. I make up my mind and wait for what Aigis-san has to say next, but she smiles.
We can discuss that later. Right now, there is an important task you must carry out. I gotta do this, huh?
Aigis-san quietly points at the shadow that has remained still while we've been talking. Labrys looks at the shadow, then turns away and casts her gaze down at the ground again. I see. So now I'm going to have to act.
It's okay. We're all right here with you.
I indicate my friends that have gathered around her. I had been forced to fight against my friends, just as Labrys had in the past. But I had been able to endure the suffering that Labrys had not. Of course, I hadn't been forced to fight to the death. But the biggest difference between Labrys and me is that I wasn't alone. What if I had been alone in this place? What if everyone else had forgotten about me, and I had had to fight all alone? Just the thought of that hurt. Labrys had been forced to endure that pain. She must have thought that there was no escaping it. But she'll be alright now. We're not going to reject her. It doesn't matter if she's a machine. She's not alone anymore. Labrys slowly looks around at all the faces, searching each one for confirmation. Finally, she turns back to me and nods. Labrys then walks over to face her shadow. When she walks, she no longer seems to be bound by her fear. She then looks down at herself. She looks at the mechanical body that she had been convinced herself she didn't have.
You're me.
Labrys and her shadow turn to face one another and stare into each other's eyes. She can't avoid looking at the shadow now.
You're the way I was on the inside, screaming to be understood. The pain wanting to be known. You're all I couldn't say. You were always inside me. You're me. A machine with a heart.
These goddamn anime cutscenes will never load. I hate it. Labrys accepted the existence of her shadow and obtained a persona. It's finally over. We take Labrys with us and follow Teddy and Rise to the school's rooftop, where they say it's connected to the TV in Junes. The invisible walls are gone. Perhaps there were walls like that wherever she came from. She drew on that making this place. But I have a feeling that she's truly been freed from those walls now. As if in confirmation, Labrys is slowly warming up to us, smiling more and responding to us when we start talking to her. When we reach the rooftop, we're surprised to see the TV world has regained the studio-like appearance that we were accustomed to. However, there are two unfamiliar faces waiting for us.
Mitsuru-san, Akihiko-san.
These people have overwhelmingly intense presences, but thankfully they don't seem to be enemies. The moment we see them, we tense up, but after Aiga-san calls out in recognition, we learn that they are friends.
I'm Mitsuru Kirijo, Labrys' handler.
A bodysuit like something out of a movie, with a fur coat on top. It's a look that doesn't really work, but her name immediately reminds me of something. The Kirijo Group. And if she has the same name, she must be quite the influential person in it. The research organization that developed Labrys and Aiga-san must belong to her.
I'm Akihiko Sanada. Sorry for all this trouble.
The man with the red cape appears to be quite comfortable with Mitsuru-san and Aiga-san. He must have been helping them fight shadows for some time. Is there some reason why people on shadow extermination squads have to dress like crazy people?
So, what's going to happen to Labrys now?
Before we fully introduced each other, Yosuke asked Mitsuru-san what I've been wondering myself. I know all of us must have been worried about this, but I was waiting for a good moment to bring it up. Even Yosuke seems to have realized how out of line his question is, and he shrinks back sheepishly as if regretting having asked the question. I know why Yosuke's worried, but why does he keep stepping on landmines like this? Well, if he's already stepped on it, we may as well wait for the smoke to clear and see if there's any answer.
Well, you deserve to know. We were thinking of sealing her away again.
They were thinking? Did something change their minds? Mitsuru-san turns to Labrys. There's a smile on her face, but is she smiling for the reason we hope she is?
A report from Aigus says that thanks to you, Labrys has acquired a persona. She's hardly a rogue test unit anymore. Besides, she has a heart. We would never treat anyone with a heart so poorly.
Yeah, we did it!
Thank goodness. I'm so happy for you, Labrys.
My friends roar in excitement. Labrys looks around at us all, bewildered before saying anything. Even though we've only known her for a very short time, we've already come to accept her as our friend. That's crazy. Like, you've known her for like an hour, at least, at most, you know? Mitsuru-san's words come as great relief, as if I'd been worried that she might lock me up, too.
Good job, guys. Let me say thanks.
He speaks without any hint of concern, but I see a touch of gratitude in Akihiko-san's eyes. Certainly looks, how can I put it, bold, but he must be an honest and upright person. I guess I could call him stoic. There's a distinct brusqueness to him. There's no way that people so considerate would neglect the goodness of Labrys' heart. It seems that Labrys can't believe everything she's hearing. She turns from Akihiko back to Mitsuru-san.
You're not gonna lock me up again? No fooling?
We only seal away objects. If I did that to you, knowing you have a heart, I'd be no different from the Kirijo Corporation of old. Labrys, you've been blessed with good friends.
Labrys looks stunned for a moment, then scrunches up her face as if about to cry. But then her face lights up with a brilliant smile. Who would think that anyone capable of making these expressions was just a machine? I found myself almost moved to tears as well. We're just about to leap forward to congratulate Labrys once again when... Labrys' head droops suddenly, like a puppet whose strings have been severed. I'm about to rush over to see what the matter is when I see Akihiko-san take a fighting stance. I realize that this is no ordinary matter. Suddenly, a bizarre voice emanates from Labrys.
It's not over yet.
It is some real weeb shit. This is some top tier weeb stuff. Which is odd because I don't like anime. I just like weeb games. It's very interesting. That isn't Labrys' voice. This abnormality seems to have made Mitsuru-san come to a realization.
What? It's the same communication system as ours.
Everyone, step away from Labrys!
Mitsuru-san and Akihiko-san rapidly shout instructions to us. We all spread out and watch Labrys from a
I
distance.
cannot gain access. She is being hacked. It isn't coming from inside this facility. The signal originates elsewhere.
You mean outside the TV?
Outside the TV? That's right. I curse myself for having forgotten what was supposed to have been the cause of all this. All this was going on because Labrys had somehow been placed into a TV. It has to be someone outside who threw her in here. The same person who stole Labrys from the Corrijo group and threw her into her TV is now taking direct control of her.
This is just a little extra resistance. Now, entertain me.
The nonchalant voice fills with malice. With a dazed look in her eyes, Labrys looks up and dashes forward. She's fast. I barely dodge her axe in time. Surprised, I look up at Labrys once more. Her eyes are blank, as if she wasn't looking at anything. Those eyes were once filled with the strength of responsibility and an awareness of duty. Her face had once been filled with sorrow over her painful past. She had smiled when she had found real friendship for the first time in her life. Whoever is controlling her has stolen all these things from Labrys. Then, I won't let her hurt Liz.
She's suffered enough. I won't let you hurt her.
Yeah, let's play some Bookworm. Yeah, you're pretty easy.
My, she was quite easily defeated. Evidently, I didn't push her far enough. Well, she is a test unit, so this is as far as my little game goes.
Labrys has stopped moving. The only sound is the smug voice that continues to come from her. Those heartless words cause anger to boil up within me.
Who are you? Why are you toying with people's emotions like this? Labrys isn't a tool. If you want to fight, then come out and fight.
You're quite passionate. You, Narukami, was it?
This person, whoever he is, knows about me? There we go. Then maybe it isn't a coincidence that we were dragged into this. This revelation
Labrys's
strikes me
was
low.
only the mastermind of the tournament. I see now. You're the true culprit behind the whole thing.
Indeed. It was I who stole Labrys away. Since I don't have a persona and can't enter a TV, I needed a puppet that could run amok for me. Labrys's persona was only partially awakened, so I had a feeling her shadow would appear if she underwent a little suffering. You got the better of me this time. You deserve to know at least that much.
Enough is enough. I've never been so irritated, knowing that I can't do anything to whoever is controlling
This
Labrys.
time. So your scheme hasn't ended.
Well then, everyone, until we meet again.
The communication cuts off abruptly without answering me. Labrys immediately slumps to her knees. Before I can even begin to move, Aigusan is already at Labrys' side to support her. Aigusan looks at me and nods, confirming that Labrys is alright. Thank goodness. Labrys is okay. I feel a bit of my strength drained from me. Still, the sword in my hand feels awfully heavy. Mitsuru-san speaks up from behind me, even as I consider
It
this.
seems whoever our adversary is, they're connected to us. I advise you not to get involved in this matter any further. From here on, you should leave this to us.
What? Wait a second. We went through this whole big thing and that's it?
She's right. There's no way in hell we're backing out of this now.
I understand how you feel, but this is too dangerous for you. We will do our best to ensure that no harm comes to you. Trust in us and let us work.
My friends bristle at Mitsuru-san's proposal. After all, we've come this far. We already knew about the dangers. There's so much I want to say, but I can understand why they'd want us to stay away.
Guys, I think we can trust Mitsuru-san. We should let them handle this.
My friends respond with looks of shock. Of course they don't agree, but now's not the time to complicate matters. One of them should understand why I'm backing down so easily. Signal Yosuke. I stare directly into Yosuke's eyes for a moment, hoping that he understands my intention here. Come on, Yosuke, back me up.
Yeah. We're all tired, so let's just get the heck out of here.
Smooth, Yosuke. Oh well. I sneak a glance towards Mitsuru-san and the others to see if they picked up on this, but none of them appear to have noticed. Maybe they're just pretending not to notice. Well, in any case, it means we've been let go for now. I sigh with relief before urging everyone into the exit TV. When I return to the real world, exhaustion from the events of the day catch up to me. I'm more tired than I expected. And again, I had been fighting all this time. It can't be helped. Everyone else seems tired too, so we decide to go our separate ways for the day. Still, everyone is safe, Labrys included. It's been a while before this case is complete. It'll still be a while before this case is completely closed, but I think we can assume that the disturbance has been settled for now. I worry about the mastermind that had taken control of Labrys, but I need to rest for now. When I get back home, Nanako greets me with a bright smile. The moment I see that, all of the exhaustion of the day hits me, along with a profound sense of relief. I can't keep myself from staggering. Nanako and my uncle were worried a bit by that, but it doesn't bother me at all. There was something I wanted to do in my room, but I hadn't even been in my room for an hour when my awareness melts into the darkness. A dream? No, that's not it. My vision quietly enveloped by a familiar blue color. This is the Velvet Room.
The actions you took, the way you withstood this trial, it truly shook me to my core. You have bested the misfortunes dealt to you and learned an important lesson.
Margaret is smiling more than usual and appears to be blushing slightly as well. I only did what came naturally to me, but she must have discovered something more than that. The path that leads past the door we've opened, the door to the future. I don't know what it is for sure, but I have a good idea that we've taken our first steps on it. I nod in understanding, and Margaret continues.
I have a personal matter to discuss with you. Not as a resident of this room. The one with malicious intent who struck at you today. This malice has not faded or subsided in the least. I'm worried about you. It may be that fate will deal you a third trial. Do you have the resolve to face it? You are strong. I will never cease to find you intriguing. It seems my fears were groundless. I'm already anticipating our next meeting. Until then, farewell.
Margaret smiles once more, and my vision begins to fade. The dream is ending. I fall into a deep sleep. That's a bonus scene. I unlocked it by just picking the first choice every time. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Hammering the old X button will get you to where you need to go. I wake up to my phone ringing. According to the call, we're supposed to meet up at the outskirts of the shopping district, at the crossroads in front of a gas station. When I arrived, the other members of the investigation team had already shown up. Surprisingly, the one who called us was Labrys. She wanted us to come so that she could say her farewells to us.
Ooh, is that it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it.
Oh man, it's so long. What the heck kind of car is that? How does it even turn corners?
A long limousine drives up to us with surprising speed. It's so long that I can't believe that it was able to handle the country roads of Inaba. I don't think I'll ever see another automobile like this in my life. The limo slows to a stop and smoothly parks beside us. Mitsuru-san climbs out of the back seat and nods to us. Labrys and Akihiko-san are in the back seat as well.
You're looking good, Labrys.
Sorry I made you come here all of a sudden, but there was something I really wanted to tell you guys.
When I look at her, Labrys smiles and looks embarrassed. She takes a moment to look around at all of us, then continues.
I decided to work with Mitsuru-san. I want to catch the darn culprit. Not only that, but, you know how you guys had my back during this whole mess? Yeah. This time, I want to get yours.
You go and do that.
I can't help but smile at the conviction and trust in her words. Labrys has faced her weakness and accepted it. She's about to begin walking towards the goal she found on her own. And that's why I don't see any reason to stop her. It'll be sad to see her go, but this decision is one Labrys made for herself.
This definitely ain't the last you've seen of me. When I come back, we'll hang out some, okay? I'll be waiting, and so will everyone else.
Come back soon. To lose such a rare beauty again. It's so tragic.
That's what you're sad about?
Everyone has their own response to Labrys's news. One thing's for sure, we'll be waiting for her. There's no lie behind that sentiment. After all, she is our friend. Mitsuru-san tells Labrys that it's time, and they get back into the limo. Labrys looks me right in the eye. She seems as if she might cry at any second, but has resolved not to. She smiles.
You guys are the best. I'm glad it was you who were there when I woke up. Well, see ya.
Man and machine. I wonder if there's truly a difference between them anymore. The thought comes to me as we wave our final goodbyes to Labrys. The limo demonstrates impressive agility as it speeds off down the narrow rural roads.
Aw, she's really gone.
Seriously. Wish she could have stayed a little longer.
I would have liked that myself, but they have their own tasks that must be done.
Yosuke and I share a glance after Naoto says that. Their own tasks, huh? It's not just theirs. We smile at each other. You want to hear the girl voice? You want to hear... I have it on my YouTube channel and it's on my older ones. But I can slip into girl Boston voice. Let's see if let me try. Pakt ka havidyad. All right, yeah. We smile at each other. Ever since I answered Mitsuru-san's proposal inside the TV, I've had my mind made up. Yosuke already knows how I think. And that's pretty much how it goes. I just pitch my voice up about 4 notes and then put on a Boston accent. Then again, that conversation wasn't very long ago. It had only been this morning. I already have a very high-pitched voice, Ryan, so... I don't... Wait, what does that say? I don't know what a Huddersfield accent is. Nanako hears me making noise in the kitchen and stands next to me, excited.
I'll help too.
Weird-ass proportions. I panic for a moment when Nanako reaches for the other cutting board and knife. I consider stopping her, then decide
If you're
not to.
gonna use the knife, be careful, okay? Make sure you don't cut yourself.
I'm always careful when I cook with you.
Nanako picks up a cucumber from the counter and begins slicing it diagonally. Her skills are still clumsy and unsteady, but all I do is caution her about how to hold the knife, and then watch her work without intervening. She doesn't have to become a master all at once, but she should. That's the moral thing to do. All it takes is constant progress, little by little. The same can be said for me or anybody. Even though things may hurt us, we may want to give up, we have to keep trying as many times as it takes until we see our goals through. Instead of nothing changing, I wish to see everything changing, along with myself.
I'm sorry, Nanako. Could you put the knife down for a second?
Okay.
I ensure Nanako has put the knife down before I answer my phone. I didn't have to look at the screen to know who was calling.
Hello? Is this Yosuke?
Like you don't know. Listen, about yesterday.
I thought this was coming.
Yosuke rushes on, as if irritated that we have to have this conversation over the phone, but I manage to calm him down. It's funny that he's getting so excited over this, but I'm glad he managed to wait the whole night before calling
Yosuke,
me.
you remember the Moonlight Bridge? The one from our class trip?
Yeah, sure. I used to be a city boy too, remember? Hey, were you checking out the Kitty Joe group online?
Perceptive as always. And that's my partner. When I went back to my room last night, I spent as much time as I could searching for information about the Kirijo group online before I fell asleep. Of course, there wasn't anything about an organization involving Labrys or Aegis-san, but the little I did find was better than nothing. Yosuke asks me if I plan to go back on my word to Mitsuru-san and the others. I did say that we ought to trust them to solve this mystery, but I never said that we should let them do it all alone. After all, the person behind everything may be after us. On top of that, they were using others in horrific
Can't back
ways.
down from this, right?
Now you're talking, partner.
Yosuke and I continue to talk. We know that we're getting closer and closer to a battle with an enemy we haven't seen yet. There's only one thought in my mind. No matter what kinds of hardships await us in our path, we will continue to fight on. As long as we have friends that will walk the path alongside us. Nanako watches me talk on my cell phone and smiles. I smile back at her innocent face before making a confident declaration.
The investigation team is back in action.
Not really.
Welcome to the Velvet
There you go.
Room.
There's a lot more. As you can tell, every single one of these, there's a lot of overlap though, so I don't think it's really particularly worthwhile. Though you do gain little chunks of information here and there about the overall story. You know, like, Naoto has a unique part in the story, and Teddy does too. But there's a lot of overlap, so I'm not going to go through it. The real question is what do you guys want to do now? I'm only half hour into streaming. I can do Crash Bandicoot, you know, Crash Team Racing. Or I can do some arcade mode of this, because I do have to get better, because once the game comes out, I'm going to do a lot of online stuff, stream that. So yeah, I guess that's it. What do you guys want to watch me do next, if you guys have any opinions? If not, I'll probably switch into Crash Team Racing. I want to get that started anyway. Right? Look at how much stuff there is to unlock here. It's ridiculous. Alright, I'm gonna play some Crash Team Racing then. So just give me a second. Let me, you know, switch over the stream. Just take a second.